All right, back down here at One Earth Collaborative's sanctuary. They've opened their fire pit area up to me. This is a campground also. You can find it on Hip Camp. I'll put the link in the description. If you're ever in Oregano, Ohio, it's southwestern Ohio. It's a beautiful place to come camp, and you might even catch me here. But I got my fire cooking down so I can get to a good cooking fire. It's pretty close. It's good and hot. I'm gonna need to cook for about an hour. What I'm gonna do here is I've got a couple. I prepped most of these up, but I'm going to cook these, fire roast these down with some garlic. I've done earlier. I cut the top out of the tomato, sliced them in half. I liberally olive oiled the bottom of the pan. I've got 2 more big tomatoes, and then I'm gonna fill in all the gaps with cherry tomatoes. I'm gonna wrap the garlic. I'm gonna top the head off, fill it full of olive oil, wrap it in aluminum foil, throw it down in here. What I'm gonna do on these, I'm just gonna come in at an angle. Just trying to get that core out, or whatever you call it, where that stem went in. And I'm not going to do nothing but pick the stems off of these. These were all this, everything you're going to see cooked today came from cooked or was harvested from a local farmers market stand. People have been there for years. They love what they're doing. Everything's organic, and everything's truly done with love. So if you want tomatoes that taste like tomatoes, don't go to retail stores. Go to your local farmers market. These were grown in a hothouse greenhouse. We're just coming out of winter here. This is one of the first really nice days of spring. But yeah, I try to get all my produce from locals that are truly growing things. If you want stuff to taste like Grandma made it, you got to use real ingredients. If you go to any of the big box retail grocery stores, you're getting a red water balloon is what it's going to taste like to me. All right. I'm gonna spread some olive oil around this. We're gonna need olive oil in every one of our recipes between the tomato soup and the pizza sauce. So I'm just being liberal with the olive oil. I don't even really care. Just coat everything is what you're looking for. I'm gonna start filling in all the little gaps with these cherry tomatoes. What I'm gonna do is cut the top off. Any of the extra here, you can knock it off. But I want to leave most of that waxy paper on there. Gonna get in the center. Some of this is still good here. These little tips. I don't like waste. I know it's a little bit, but it's better than wasting. Just want a good, slightly uncomfortable heat coming up to it. I just raised this a little. I can hear it boiling off, which is fine, and I gotta figure out how to support this better. It seems to be not, oh, I see what's going on there. Okay. And even though I've campfire cooked my whole life, I've never actually tried to make stuff that tasted like a chef's quality would taste. A lot of times I was just exhausted and threw some hobo stew by the fire, or maybe even got fancy, tried to impress somebody. Chicken Alfredo or something like that on a date down here on the river, something like that I've done. It's been 40 minutes. I'm gonna go ahead and pull this aluminum foil back. Of course, I'm gonna set it aside and save it. But I'm gonna pull it apart, give everything a good stir, see where we're at with it. Ooh. These tomatoes that are on top, I'm gonna make sure they get towards the bottom. Oh yeah, the ones on bottom are just falling apart. It wouldn't hurt to let it have a little heat even. And they're savage and mauled it. Here's the sneak peek. See that skin coming off? That's, even though some of these aren't quite as easy. I think once I get my hands in there, the others will be easy. I'm not going to peel the cherry tomatoes. Hopefully they just burst. But either way, see, that's still got a good texture to it, a hard texture. But let these cool tomorrow night, or excuse me, tomorrow morning. When they're cool, I'll peel them out and I'll drop them in the Instant Pot with it. I'm gonna season the tomato soup and exact seasonings. And then I'm just gonna split the chunky versus all this liquid. This liquid's gonna turn into a darn nice tomato soup. All right, here we go. These are the fire roasted tomatoes that this is sat overnight in the fridge. You see it's just ready to be crushed. So I'm gonna separate the holes from the liquid. Do the best I can to separate two. Then I'm gonna go in with my hands with gloves on. Well, I gotta take the skins off first, and then from there I'm disposing of the skins, but then I'll start crushing them, and then I'll restrain the liquid and have the tomato soup. Couple different videos. If you never see a pizza sauce video come out of this, or even the tomato, either way, you'll know I screwed it up. You see they're all coming apart fairly easy. Right, here we are, day 2, I believe. The fire roasted tomatoes. Yesterday I crushed them all out, separated the juice from this. I was gonna make pizza sauce. Ends up I've got a lot more friends coming down the river tonight for campfire and food. So I'm just gonna turn the whole thing into tomato soup, an adult version of. And when it's done out of these pots, I'm gonna run it through the food processor because I've got some fresh rosemary. And hopefully this fire roasted, this garlic will come apart like I'm hoping it will. There we go, some of it's coming out. We'll see about that. But yeah, for right now, I'm going to set the Instant Pots up on saute, throw some extra virgin olive oil in, and dice up this, the garlic and some crushed red pepper. And once that's done, I'll add a cup of chicken bone broth to each. I'm doing 2 different pots. One's gonna have dairy-free cream cheese eventually, and the other's gonna have real cream cheese, full strength. And so yeah, I've got somebody coming down that's lactose intolerant, so I'm gonna do that. Now, if I was doing this for a vegan, I'd not only do plant-based, I would skip the chicken bone broth, even though some are good, some are not. It's best just to skip it and cook down just water. Change the flavor slightly, but not enough to really notice. So yeah, let's just get started. I'm gonna measure this for you. Usually I just do it by eye. We'll see how it looks when it's done. I'm just trying to get something to saute up the garlic, and I'm gonna call it 3 tablespoons of olive oil. And out of this, I'm gonna set it to saute. Bring that up to good temperature. While that's coming up, trying to just squeeze them out. These are nice and gooey. I'm just trying to rough chop them. Like I said, everything's going through the food processor, so I won't have to worry too much about big lumpy textures. Alright, that was 1 whole head, and it just looks to me like half and half for the amount I'm going for. So we use half a head per pot here. 1/4 teaspoon red chili flakes into the hot oil. Throw half this head in. It's already roasted, so I'm just trying to get it fragrant. Alright, before I scorch anything off, it probably could go a little while longer. I'm gonna kill that. Set it to slow cook for now. Dump in 1 cup of chicken bone broth that we made. And then half of tomato juice. And then I'm gonna go big. I'm gonna skip the pizza sauce. Roundabout's half. Now, between the two pots, I would use 3 or 4 bay leaves per pot. I don't think I've got, this is all I've got here. I didn't plan this out very well. So I'm just gonna divvy up what I've got. I will filter those back out later. Teaspoon of basil. I'm gonna do a teaspoon of all my green herbs. Teaspoon of parsley. If we can get that back out. There we go. Teaspoon of oregano. And then this fresh rosemary. I've never used the fresh stuff before. Let's just see what happens. We'll just keep it simple and stick to a teaspoon of this. I'm gonna chop up what I need. Hopefully you can see this. Just roll it up. I'm just gonna roughly chop it. Makes me feel like it'll release more. I don't even know. I think I meant to put half that in the other pot. Daggone it. There you go. See, when you screw up, just that simple. Half and half. Teaspoon each, estimately. Stir that in. Now I'm gonna switch it back off. Let's keep it warm. Soup broth. I'm gonna bring this to a boil. Oh yeah, hang on. Slow down, slow roll. Also adding a cup of water. So I'm gonna cook it down. I'm gonna bring it up to a boil and cook it down. And let's go. We're gonna run them both through the food processor after cooking them down for, I've got about 4 hours before the event. Like I said, I'm gonna bring it to a boil, put it back to slow cook, let it come down. I might do that 2 or 3 times, just trying to push cooking it off. I'm just trying to reduce it at this point, all. You could actually heat this up as hot as you just get it to a boil and bring it back down and serve it now if you wanted. But I'm gonna keep cooking it down as far as I can. I'm also going with a half teaspoon of black pepper. If you remember, I salted the tomatoes really good when I was roasting them, so I'm assuming that salt will be in there. We'll know upon taste test. I always follow the final recipe in the comments, or excuse me, in the description, because I go until it tastes right. All right, here you go. We got a good boil. Keep it stirring. Shut this off. Roll it to slow cook. All right, here we go. Taste test on the adult tomato soup and the grilled cheese. Kind of works.